Hello class. In this video, we're going to go over how to write numerical expressions. This is something you have been doing for the past couple of years in math, but we're going to actually call this out. But before we start doing the lesson, I want you to start by pausing this video, writing your complete heading, full name, first and last, the date, mathematics, your period number, and then the assignment name in your notebooks. Okay, now that we have this done, numerical expressions are important to write, and it's something that we have been doing. Whenever you're given a word problem or a story problem, you are asked to solve, and you inadvertently do write numerical expressions down to be able to figure out step by step what you need to do to solve it. So this video is kind of focusing on just writing the numerical expressions, not solving them, so that we can really understand it, because our word problems this year become much difficult compared to any years that we had before. So before we start the actual lesson, let's go over our vocabulary word. We have one vocabulary word today, and it's called numerical expressions. Numerical expressions are expressions with numbers and operations, at least one operation, but does not have an equal sign. So for example, when we had 3 plus 4, or if we had 4 times 3 divided by 2 plus 9, you notice that they're all numbers and they have at least one operation. Remember our operations: addition, subtraction, multiplication, and division. So I want you to pause this video now and write in your index cards the numerical expressions, the definition, and these examples. Now that we have that down, let's actually apply how to write a numerical expression. So here's our first problem. And it says, Tyler caught 15 small bass, and his dad caught 12 small bass in the Memorial Bass Tourney in Tidu, PA. And we want to write a numerical expression to represent how many fish they caught in all. So for first thing is, just as a reminder, when we don't know what a word is, we need to look in the dictionary to figure out what it is. And some people may not know what a bass is. Bass is a type of fish, so that we know that we're talking about catching fish or going fishing. So I look at this and they are adding the same amounts, right? So I'm going to underline where it is that I need the information. So I have 12 and 15. So you have Tyler and his dad, right? And we want to know how much he has in all. So we want it in all. This is important information that I underlined. So I look at it and I know I have to add Tyler's bass, and we have to add his dad's bass, right? So it's Tyler plus dad. So I look at it and I go, because I want to know in all. In all means to add, right? So I have Tyler's plus what dad caught, and that will give me what I have for all. So I relook at the problem, and I notice that Tyler has 15. He caught 15 basses. And then I relook at the problem, and dad caught 12. So I'm actually writing 15 plus 12. So this is my expression. That's my numerical expression right here. Okay? My numerical expressions. Remember, a numerical expression only has numbers, okay, and at least one operation. So here I have one operation, which is addition. After I get my expression, I'm going to relook at it and make sure that I covered everything. And the only time we're talking about is with Tyler and dad and what they caught. So I know I have all the information. Then I reread the problem and it goes, write a numerical expression to represent how many fish they caught in all. And that's what I did here, right? I added the 15 plus 12. Notice I did not solve it because the problem did not say to solve it. It said to write a numerical expression. Sorry, let me fix that line only because that didn't come out too straight. But it just said to write. It said nothing about solving. So I know that that is my final answer, the 15 plus 2. I want you to pause this video now, write down the problem, and my work in your notebook. Now that I have this example down, let's look at another one. So here it says Kim has $20 to spend for her fishing trip. She spends $12 on a fishing pole. Then she finds $3. Write an expression to represent how much money Kim has now. So I look at it and I go, she has $20. That's what she has to begin with. She spends $12. And then she says that she finds $3. That's the important information of the data that I need for my question. And then I look at what I need to solve, and it says write an expression to represent how much money Kim has now. So I'm not solving this. It just says write an expression. So I look at, how much money she has to start. So her starting amount. Then it says she spends. Well, if she spends, I'm taking away, right? So she spends $12. So I have to minus what she spends. As you see, I'm just going from left to right. This is what she did first, right? So I'm going to put that in parentheses because that's what's done first. That is a horrible parentheses for that. So that's in parentheses because that's done first. And then it says, then she finds $3. So if she finds 3, the word find means I'm going to add. So I'm going to add what she finds. And I put this in words before I worry about the numbers because I could add the numbers in later, in which I will do. So I look at it and I reread the problem. Kim has $20 to spend. She spends 12 and then she finds 3. So she has the money she starts minus the money she spends plus the money she finds. And now I could input my numbers. Well, to start, she had $20. She spent 12, so I'm minusing 12. And that goes in parentheses because that's done first. And then after everything, she finds $3. So right here, this is my numerical expression, okay? That is my final answer that I'm going to be writing down. Again, I don't need to solve because the problem said to write a numerical expression, okay? So I want you to pause this video now, write down the word problem and all of our work. Now that we have this down, let's look at one more problem. Here we have Monique has $20. She had $20. She spent $5 on lunch and $10 at the bookstore. Write an expression of how much money Monique has now. So I look at it and I go, So this is how much she had. She spent $5 and $10. And then we need to write an expression to show how much money she has now. So again, I'm not writing, solving, I am writing the expression. So I say, well, how much money does she have to start? That's the first sentence. I obviously have to minus what she spent, right? But she spent $5 on lunch and $10 at the bookstore. So I'm minusing how much she spent. And that'll give me how much she has left. Here, she's not finding anything or spending anywhere else, so I know that that is all I need to do. So I look and I go, how much did she start with? She started with $20, right? Because it says Monique had $20. So I'm going to write 20. And I'm minusing how much she spent. But here she said she spent $5 and $10. 5 for lunch, 10 at the bookstore. And it says to write an expression. So I know that 5 plus 10 is 15, but that's not part of our expression because they kept it separately. So I have to minus those two amounts, but I only made one category of what she spent. So that means I got to add those two in the expression, and I need to add them before I subtract them. So I'm going to add a parentheses and do 5 plus 10 because 5 plus 10 will give me what Monique had spent for her lunch and at the bookstore. Now I look at it and I go, she had 20 minus what she spent, the 5 plus 10. I know the answer is going to be 5, but the problem here says write an expression. It doesn't say to solve. So this way, I know that this is my final answer here. I want you to pause this video and copy everything here into your notebooks. Now that we have this down, I want you to try some on your own. So here are 2 problems. I want you to just write an expression, okay? You're just writing an expression. You're not solving, you're just writing an expression. So the first problem says, Greg drives 38 miles on Monday and 154 miles on Tuesday. Write an expression to match these words. So you're just writing an expression, you are not solving it. Miles, we're driving, it could be highway miles, it could be street, that doesn't matter. Okay, we just know that Greg did 38 miles on Monday and 154 miles on Tuesday. The second question says, Kylie has 14 polished stones. Her friend gives her 6 more stones. And Kylie then gave 4 stones to her mom. Write an expression to match the words. So we're just writing an expression to see how much stones Kylie has left after what she had, then what her friend gave her, and then what she gave to her mom. If you need to rewatch this video again, you may do so as many times as you need to. Don't forget, though, to show all of your work and write down the questions in your notebook.